Hey guys, Allen Kotlyar here with another interview with secretsofdigitalmarketers.com. So excited to have Michael Rosenberg. How are you doing today?
Dude, I am doing fantastic. It's Friday and I'm feeling pretty energized and yeah.
Well, the best thing about Friday is you get to look back on the week and all the things that you've done. And I really love being able to get on these interviews, interview entrepreneurs like yourself who are doing big things in the space, because that sets me up for wins next week. It allows me to learn these lessons, apply them, see what's going on, and then improve overall. So thanks for coming on the show. I'm actually super excited to interview you today because you're part of the Kim Dang's Chrome Boss class, like I am, and you're
hmm
going through building your own simple software. And you actually were in the class a little bit ahead of me. So this interview is going to be awesome for people listening because we're going to actually learn what you're doing to build a successful SaaS startup, how you're teaching people how to do digital marketing, how to be able to do proper social media outreach. And then you got a super cool bonus for the guys that are going to listen all the way to the end. And I highly, highly suggest you do it because this software is going to change literally the way people see your posts on Facebook. So, Michael, why don't we start off? Tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your background? How do you get started in this space? And really, what do the people that are listening need to know about you and all of the things that you've done in the marketing industry?
Yeah, well, thanks so much again for having me on here. It's truly a pleasure. I've been loving, seeing your progress in the Chrome Boss community and then also obviously, learning from you as well. So that's been a joy. And a little bit of history about me. Like many people, I feel like in the digital marketing space, about I would say almost 5 years ago, I was served a YouTube ad and they said I could make money online. And then I said, oh, that sounds great. Because I had basically just graduated with a degree in music theory and music business. And I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. So they were like, "Oh yeah, you can make money online." I said, "Great." Spent $100. I was like, I was so sure that I was going to make my money back that month, and it wasn't until about a year later that I actually did make my first dollars online. It was through actually an e-commerce store that I had started. I remember getting that cha-ching from Shopify on my phone. If anyone's out there and they remember that, leave a comment. That's
Isn't that the
fine.
best feeling in the
It
world?
it is. It
Like,
actually is.
I love seeing my like. So I don't know if you guys can see this clock in the back here, but it's called a Lemetrics clock. Okay, and this clock actually has like all these settings, right? And so what you can do is you can program the clock to actually make a sound every time you get an email or every time you get a PayPal button payment or every time you get a new
Oh man.
subscriber. It actually like shows the count of the subscribers. So I'm really excited to release that training because once you hear this noise, it like makes you believe it's possible. And so often, people that are coming in this business or they're working on developing their own products, their own stuff, is they lose this belief because they're not seeing people come into their funnel. They're not seeing the deals happen, and they're watching all these videos, all these gurus saying, "Hey, it's totally doable," but they lose this faith. But once you get that first opt-in, right? Once you get that first
hmm
sale, like all of a sudden your brain changes and it's like, wow, it's doable. It's so
Yeah,
great.
exactly. Yeah, and that's pretty much exactly the feeling that I had. Like once I had that first sale, I was like, "Oh, like this is real." Because I was working in a different job at the time when I was like trying to do all this stuff online. Um, I was like, "Oh, this is real. Like this is actually a possibility for me to make money and make a living." And then eventually, after running my e-commerce store for a little bit with mediocre success, I would say. Um, I started doing Instagram and running ads for a music lesson shop that I was working at and an escape room that I was working for. And my dad, who's actually who was a magician at the time, and I started running ads for them. I was just like, "Let me run ads for you. Like, let me do this stuff for you. Like, there's this thing called the internet, and you can get clients with it." And so I, went down that path. And after, so I helped them, and then I started taking on some other clients, And then eventually I actually ended up partnering up with an agency who was working specifically with fitness professionals and gyms, and they actually hired me on as a marketing director. And we had probably about 15 clients, like agency clients, and then like probably 20 to 30 clients who had bought, the individual course at a time. And so, I worked there for about 10 months, and I learned just so much from being there and working with those clients and getting results for some clients and not getting as good results as I'd like to for other clients.
Yeah.
And but eventually I pretty much got really burnt out while I was working there, because there just weren't any systems in place in a lot of ways. And even though when I came, I actually implemented a bunch of systems, like an onboarding system, so that instead of taking a week to just onboard a single client, it took like an hour, which was amazing. But there were still a lot of things that just caused me to be really stressed out all the time, really burnt out. And I was just taking really bad care of my body. I just was sleeping terribly. I was binge drinking on the weekends to try and just, I don't know, feel sad for myself. I don't really even know.
I
But
mean, it's so interesting. Like when you get into this agency life, right? And you got to be in it, right? You got to be like
yeah,
full
yeah,
out. And what's funny is you realize all of the different things that are part of it, right? You realize like when you're taking on a client, right? And they're like, just get me leads. You're not thinking about the onboarding process for the sales rep,
right.
but that's where you eventually go, right?
Hmm.
You eventually go from, okay, you just need leads. Oh, well, you can't handle the leads. Okay, well, I don't need your services anymore. Hey, before you quit, what about if I got you a training manual and I showed you how to get commission only sales reps? Okay, I guess so, yeah. And then now you're helping like build the sales team, you're help building
Yeah.
operations, you're help doing all of that. So really when I'm talking with clients, like when they're like, why do you charge so much? I'm like, well, do you want a CMO? Right? Do you want a chief marketing officer? Do you want a chief technology officer? Like that's what I have to do to properly make your funnel work. Right? I have
Hmm.
to identify every process, every sales call, everything so that way we get you the highest amount of ROI because that's really what they care about. Right? They don't care
Yeah.
about amount of leads. I can get you a million leads, but if you don't do nothing with it, you're not going to renew next month.
Yeah.
So that's really what you were going through. You were learning that there's a lot more to this marketing game than pretty much driving traffic, doing ads. And even with that segment of the business, then it comes into a conversation of like, okay, well, what can we do to get these ads cheaper? Right? What can we do to
Hmm.
get them better ads? What can we do to optimize that? So marketing supports sales, and sales depends on marketing. So you got to look at all these avenues, and that's really what it sounds like you were learning at the beginning stages of working with the agencies.
Yeah. And that is what I was learning. And the truth is, like, when I got into like that agency work and working with companies, you know, um, I invested in a bunch of courses, and what they were teaching me was the marketing piece, which was super important, right? Like obviously, like the technical skill of running ads, using social media is important when you're running an agency, but it's actually like just the smallest piece of it in a lot of ways. And I think that um, I agree. And like the biggest piece of it, which gets overlooked by a lot of agencies that are just starting out, or a lot of agencies that are like doing okay and like doing really well, is they get stuck in doing like a bunch of these different things, not charging enough for it, not having enough systems in place to help others implement the systems. Um, and so that's actually why when I left that company, because I was just like, I can't, I had some disagreements, but also it was just like, I can't work here anymore. It's like, it's not good for my health.
Yeah,
And
and that's the
I
problem
left
too.
there and I
Is
actually like,
that's the problem too. Is oftentimes like
yeah,
you're,
go on.
you're working on these clients, right? The agency's mindset is get more clients. And then
Hmm.
as the account owner, Your job is get results for those clients. But see, there's a paradox there, right? The more clients I get, the less I can spend on their campaigns to optimize it. But now I'm also in meetings with new clients and I have to sell them services to keep the ball rolling because there's such thing as a retention rate. And the retention rate drops based off of the services provided and how well you take care of them. So when you get into this running an agency, you're not thinking about that. You're like, I just want my first client. I just want that $1,000 a month. But what you
Hmm.
don't realize is that $1,000 a month is buying a piece of your soul. Is buying a piece of
Well,
your time.
yeah. Well, to speak to that too, like, um, my very like the first, I would say the first like real official client that was paying me $1,000 a month was a chiropractor, and I remember that I enrolled them. I used my sales tactics and I enrolled them, and they signed up, they paid me, they signed the contract, and we had set up their ads. It was about like a week in, and I had set up their ads, started them running, and the next day, um, there were just no leads that day. And I remember I was sitting on the ground of my room at the time at my parents' house, and I was just like so sad. I was like, I like because I so desperately wanted to serve those clients. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
really was like, I promised them, I gave them my word that I would do everything that I could to get them results. And I didn't realize it at the time, but there was just so much more. Like you were saying, there's so much more that I needed to be doing, not just from the ads, because eventually I got the ads to work, but there was so much on the sales side and the operation side that just it takes your freaking life force to really serve someone, right? Like
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
your first or second or third client. Like it takes something to really be like, shit, like I have to get moving on this. Sorry, I hope it's okay that I just
No, I
cursed, to
mean
be honest.
it's okay. We're a adult only podcast here because we
Okay,
talk
okay,
about some
nice.
real shit. Okay, the
Yeah.
shit that we go in and day out, as agency owners, as marketers, right? So, I mean, the goal overall is to realize that you get better every client, right? So, like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't like it's like learning how to dance. You don't know how to dance the first time. Like you're all awkward. You're like stepping on their shoes and like they're trying to turn this way, you're turning that way. Like you don't have the rhythm, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you get better. You get better and better every day, every client, every campaign, every strategy call. Like that's the goal. And when you look at the pros, you forget that they've done this 100 times, right? You
Mm-hmm.
forget that they have support and team and systems that they've developed over the years. And so your job is just to get a little bit better every single day in your business. And it's doable. It's totally doable.
Yeah, 100%.
So talk me through the process. So you're working at the agency, right? It's taking, a lot of stress, like you probably growing gray hairs and you're like, I want to provide value, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I was sort of in the same situation too, because I was not the type of person that was like sell them a website and then like try to do something later and then deal with the development team and then like 2 months goes down the line, they're already paying you retainer, like, and then you're delivering something and then you're always in this like catch up game, right? You're always
Mm-hmm.
like sell them, try to fulfill it, but I gotta sell, fulfill, and then clients are like, "Where's my project? How's it going? What's going on?" Right? So how did you get through that growth phase in your career?
Yeah. So how did I get through that growth phase? So really, it came down to, well, number one, I left that company because they were trying to do too much. And that's how I ended up learning to grow in my own business is you actually need to do like less, more, like better. You need to do less, better. And so when I basically left that company, started my own agency and my own basically coaching agency, I knew who I was going to work with, and I knew that I was going to help them with a very specific thing, and I was going to take them through a very specific process. And I think that that is the key difference that I think successful businesses and agencies have is that they have one process that they take people through. And if the person isn't a good fit for the process, then they're not going to be a good client. And if you have to make a bunch of customizations, it's going to be a really challenging project because
Yeah.
you're again you're going back to that, okay, let me sell them something and I'm going to fulfill on it. And like, Alan, I'm not perfect. I've taken on clients in my journey along the way of people who I'm like, I should not have taken, and literally
Yeah.
like a day or a few days after, I'm like, I should have never taken on this client because my process that I'd love to take them through is not going to work for them because they're like they have this other thing going on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
I think on that topic there, like
mhm,
when you're starting your agency and you're starting your business, you cannot really be choosy. You need the experience, right? You
mm,
need the case studies. You need the examples. When somebody says, "Hey, have you worked with somebody in this field?" Like, you should take as much work as possible that you can handle, right? Do
yeah,
not go out there and sell projects that you can't do. Okay, first of all, the number
mm,
one mistake. Second mistake, I've seen agencies take the money, then spend the money, and then the client asks for a refund. So make sure you don't spend the money till you deliver something of value. Okay.
mm,
Third one, take a deposit so that way you actually know that they are going to pay you down the road, right? Don't say I'm going to start your Facebook ads and then
oh
like
yeah,
not have any upfront money or some type of contract. And then to answer what sort of what you were saying was you need to have a criterion that says like I want clients that have a certain amount of ad budget per month that they're spending, right?
mm,
So like the clients that I work with, the best ones are ones that can spend 3 to 5 grand a month on ads, right? They're at a different place in their business, right? But
yeah,
when you're starting and you're doing it for Joe Blow or Bob's Burgers or something else, right? You got to take any type of business. You got to get this experience. You got to build up your resume. You got to like have case studies and things to show. So ideally, the problem is most people don't build their business by design. They build their
mm,
business by default or proximity. So what you really have to ask yourself, like what you're touching on, Mike, here, is what is the ideal client? Where do they need to be mentally and financially for me to do the best type of work for them?
yeah. And I'll add on to this because I think that a lot of people misconstrue this point, right? Because I feel
Yeah.
like a big topic in a lot of different coaching programs that I've been a part of and like in coaching that I've given is like, who's your ideal client? Like, who is it? You want to know how they sleep. You want to know when they wake up. You want to know what their top, what their lives are like, who their spouse is. You want to know all this information. And more importantly, like you were saying, you want to know what criteria do they need to actually have success in my program. But when you're first starting out, or even in that first, I would say like 5 to 10 to even 15 client range, you want to know what that criteria is, but you might still want to take on clients who are a little bit outside of that because it might become a happy accident that you actually thought you wanted this, but as you're actually working with clients, you realize that you actually want someone more along the lines of these people who you just got. However, you really want to avoid like the clients that you want to avoid is actually so much more important than you taking on your best,
Mm.
most ideal clients. So like you want to avoid energy vampires. Like if someone's negotiating with you like crazy for a price, it's probably not your client, to be honest.
No.
Like if you're trying, and I would say like you want to be fair, right? And I'm not saying that you should charge $5,000 to someone if you've never worked with a single client before. I mean, maybe you have the experience and the skill set in another industry that you can take to your new business or your agency. But if you don't have experience and you're trying to get some and you're trying to help clients, charge them for sure, make it fair. But if they're trying to argue and combat with you over $500 or $1,000 for you to run ads on their behalf or for you to help them with their branding or their social media or their website,
Yeah.
they're not going to be a good client because they're
So
just going to come
true.
back to you again and again and again and complain. They're going to ask you for additional things that are outside the scope of your initial contract. Scope creep is super huge,
Super huge.
especially with clients who aren't always the best. And like for
No,
instance,
and let's talk
oh yeah,
about
go
that.
on.
I mean, like, it's just so funny. It's like people are like, oh, if it's a $5,000 client, they're gonna want so much from me. I've actually seen the cheaper clients want more from me than the clients that pay the big dollars, because those clients that are, at the beginning stages of their business, they need different tools and resources, not only financially, such as like how much they have to invest in Facebook ads, but they need to get up this learning curve, right?
Hmm.
That's why your social media videos, that's why your membership site, that's why your interviews have to educate them to be able to deal with you at that stage, right? So, like, if they don't know what a funnel is, it doesn't make sense for them to come on a 30-minute consultation with me. Like,
Right.
like they could, but it's not going to be beneficial. Like, I need to see their ad account. I need to see their page. I need to be able to look at all the tools and resources. So you got to really ask the client and do your due diligence and do your homework and say, like, where are they at from 0 to 100, right? Then secondly, mentally, do they know the requirements that it's going to take to work with somebody like me? Right? Maybe they're used to
Hmm.
agencies that send them a monthly report and they never talk to them, right? And they're used to a $200 website, right? And when you're like $5,000 for a funnel system, they're like, "What? I don't get it." Like, I'm used to paying $300 to somebody on Fiverr, right? So you have to sort of evaluate, what are they used to spending? What are they currently spending? What percentage of total company revenue are they investing in marketing? Also, what percentage of total company revenue are they investing in technology, which is different than marketing? That's like the
Hmm.
phone system, the software, the tech, like all of the tools to make the marketing work. So, like, what I've had before is like clients say, yeah, I'm okay with 5 grand, but I don't want to pay you $200 a month for software. Well, it doesn't work that way, right?
Hmm.
So what happens is you either need to eat that out of your agency fee, but the problem is if you're running Facebook ads and you're charging 10 to 20% of budget, you're really not making much if there's not a lot of budget. So you have to charge for management, right? And if they're like, well, I can't afford $1,000 a month even for management, well, guess what? They're not going to get the results with Facebook ads.
Yeah.
So really, you have to pre-frame and educate and get them to understand, like, how much can you invest per month? What is your current cost per lead, right? What is the value of each deal? And if I can get you X amount of more deals, could you actually fulfill it? Which is a big problem also.
Yeah. And I think to speak to that too, like in a sales conversation, like a lot of a lot of people talk about like, oh, you want to close the deal, you got to get people to sign up, and I definitely, obviously, you want to be closing deals, you want to get people to enroll into your program, into your services, but you want to make sure that they're going to be like to your point. You want to make sure they're actually going to be able to get results, right? And it's going to be more valuable in the long run for you to tell someone, hey, you know what? This is actually not a great opportunity for you right now, and to turn them away, or even better, is to create a network for yourself of referral partners who work with businesses at all different levels
Yeah,
so that you can say, you know what, for my program, you're not actually the perfect fit because XYZ, but what I have in mind is actually I know an amazing coach. I know an amazing agency that works with coaches who are doing between $1,000 and $5,000 a month to help them grow that to 10K. Is it okay if I made an introduction for you? Right? And then you
absolutely.
introduce those two people. Maybe if you have a good relationship with that partner, they give you a little bit of a commission kickback. But even better, you've made it's a triple win, right? So the potential client, they get the service that they actually need, not just your service that you tried to kind of squeeze them into, even though
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to get them good results. You gave your partner an amazing referral that's ready to go, has a problem that that partner can solve, and both of those people, oh, I'm sorry, I'm flipping off the camera here. Both those people are going to speak so highly of you because instead of you trying to sleazily enroll them into your services, you said, you know what? I actually know something that's better for you. I want to serve you how you're meant to be served, as opposed to let me just try and fit you in somewhere.
Yeah. And I think that's important. When you are working on your agency, you got to realize it only takes one bad apple or one bad review to like put a huge damper on your success. So your goal is to make sure that everybody who comes through your coaching program, just like everybody who's watching this live right now, like I personally want to see each one of you guys succeed. Like it's not the money, right? And people are like, "Oh, well, if it wasn't the money, why don't you do it for free?" Well, the thing is, when you pay attention. And even if I gave you the number one course and I gave you all the secrets, the problem is you got a mindset problem. You're not going to apply it anyway. So the thing is, when you're taking on clients, you want to make sure that they succeed because that will get around and that will build reciprocity. And that will, and the people will start saying, "Hey, I'm getting great results from the coaching. I'm getting great results from the system." And there's the difference between people that just sign up everybody with no support, no monthly reporting, no weekly reporting, no update calls. And that's the missing pieces to keep longevity of a client, right? It's easy to make a sale. It's hard to keep a client. But once you keep them, they'll keep on buying from you forever if you fulfill on what you offer. So, that's the problem with the industry is there's a lot of like press one campaigns, right? For businesses, they call all day long. Hey, there's a problem with your Google listing. You need SEO services. Or, hey, I found
Mm-hmm.
7 mistakes wrong with your header description. You need a website design. Like they're getting bombarded with these emails, right? They're getting bombarded with these phone calls. So your job is to stand out from the crowd and actually give them something of value in your presentation to actually show them something they can apply with or without you that would make a big difference. But once they realize that you bring that outside perspective, they won't want to go with nobody else, especially when you show them your case studies and other people that are, happy about working with you.
Yeah, 100%. And
So let's talk a little bit about so you were working on all these things, you were developing your own systems, and like the thing is, I always believed if I don't like something, I can do it different when I'm the boss, right?
mm-hmm.
Right. So you go through all these companies, you're like terrible sales team, terrible culture, no systems, right? And you try to implement them, but the problem is it's not your business, right? So you get a lot of
Yeah.
resistance from other people higher up, people on the same level, people below you. So you were trying to put together all these SOPs, standard operating procedures. You were trying to like help improve their business. So what happened there? Like you were trying to give them the gold, but they probably didn't understand the pearls you were giving them, right?
Yeah. So, do you want the true story, Alan?
I want the
I'll give it
down
to
and
you, man.
dirty.
So, um, we were implementing systems, and we were honestly growing. We had just did a joint venture webinar with one of our clients. We got a big success for. We had a webinar, did 40K, contracted in a day. It was awesome. We were taking on new clients. We were starting to get things in order, but the truth is that the owner of that company, um, was a little bit manipulative. And I did not realize it until I started to see a couple things that I thought were a little odd. And as I brought them up, um, he kind of just tried to keep them under the rug and just like was just kind of like hiding, dodging. And then eventually some of the people on the sales team left because of some things that were happening. And basically, I mean, the true reason why I left is basically the salespeople were on a. So I was basically like part like COO of the business at this point. I saw all the numbers, like I knew who was getting paid what, like I knew everything.
Mm.
But the sales pros, the sales team, these two guys who had left, or they were terminated technically. Um, Basically, they were supposed to get a base pay on top of, and then they get commissions on top of that. And after he basically had them leave, he like refused to pay them this base pay, this prorated base pay for the time that they had worked and even deals they had closed within that time frame.
Wow.
And basically, just something about it really just rubbed me the absolute wrong way. I was like, these people have been working here for like almost a year, and like it's just like it just wasn't right, right? And so I just
It's not
basically
right.
was like, hey, like I'm gonna stay on for like a month or so we can find a replacement, because at that point I was doing literally all the marketing for our clients. I'm gonna stay on so we can find a replacement so that our other clients don't get screwed over. And then but then basically a few days after that, he basically terminated me. To which afterwards, within that same like week, I was getting messages on Facebook from all of our clients, or a lot of them, being like, "Hey, I can't get in touch with these guys. Like, what's going on? Like, I can't get access to our leads. Like,
Yeah.
what's happening?"
And
And
and that's the problem is you got to think about it. Your name is attached to every project you do, even after you leave a company.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like, the problem is you try to do right, but you got management, you got CEO level, like they got different agendas, right? So
hmm
the thing is, if you don't like what you currently have, your only option is to do something different.
yeah,
And I was sort of at the same place too, because I was like, well, dude, I don't like the sales structure. I don't like the compensation. I don't like having to repeat myself 1,000 times. Like I hate like
hmm
they tell me, why is it not working? And I'm like, well, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. And then I check up with them and they didn't do nothing. And they're still complaining. So when you control your own ship, when you're the driver of your own bus, you can determine the destination. And you're going to be the one that if it works or doesn't work, then the blame's going to be on you, right?
yeah,
But only when you can get to that point can you do it. And a lot of times people are like, well, I want to be the boss from the beginning. Well, I sort of am in the philosophy that like, you need to learn each step of the way, sort of like what you did. You took on clients, you learned Facebook ads, you started learning the agency life, you started figuring out what's working, what's not working, and you start putting this together for yourself for one day, knowing what you don't want so you can make what you do want when you have your own company. So you got to take these transition points, eventually transition out of working for somebody from 5 days a week down to 3 days a week to 2 days a week, and build this business on nights and weekends. Build it on your off time, right? That is what's required of you. It doesn't just happen overnight. Success takes time and effort and preparation. So you got to put in this extra hours when everybody else isn't, so you can eventually be the one taking vacation and getting paid while everybody else is working. So you were working through this process. You left the company. So people were hitting you up. What did you do next in your career?
yeah. Next, I basically just started taking on clients who, um, like from literally just connections that I had either made while I was working at the company, or just people that I knew, and just started reaching out to people and previous contacts I had. And this is something big too, I think, that people can take away. It's like, do not discount your warm network. Do not discount your warm network, because literally your next five clients already know who you are, or already know someone that you know. Like, you're literally,
Absolutely.
so like, you don't like, especially if you're starting out, or especially if you're like, where am I going to find clients? If you're doing a lot of cold outreach, amazing. Like, cold outreach, it definitely works for sure. It just, because you still got to build a relationship with those people, but it works. But there's already people that you freaking know that need your help, that need your services.
Yeah.
And that's just like bottom line. And that's what I teach most of my coaches, is like their first 10, 15 clients. Because I work with a lot of like fitness professionals, wellness professionals that are either going online for the first time, or have been online, but they're like, I'm just trying to get this social media thing to work.
Yeah.
And time and time again, their first 5 or 6 clients are people that have been their friends for 2 years, 5 years, or have been following them on social media for 6 months, but they don't even realize it because they've never actually had a conversation with them, right? And all it takes is, I mean, this will be the juice. Hopefully, this will be some juice that people can take
Yeah,
away.
for the
I
people
call
watching
it,
the live, if you want Michael to give you the juice, give us some thumbs up, give us some hearts. He's about to drop some fire, so I'm excited for it. Tell me the
that's
process
it.
of how we take them from social media, from following you to actually being able to get on a calendar. Ooh, we got some hearts, we got some thumbs up. So,
Ooh, I love
all
that. I love
right,
that.
he's getting revved up over here.
Okay.
So, so talk to
So,
me, Michael. Let's just drop the hammer. How do you do it?
so here's the hammer. It's called, I don't have a fancy name for it, but it's called the pipeline exercise. Okay. And if you know what a pipeline is, it's basically your funnel of leads, your funnel of prospects. But the truth is that a lot of businesses actually have nothing tangibly written down as far as who are those people, who are in your pipeline. So what I invite you all to do, you can literally do this today, and it can literally generate you appointments and meetings like today,
Yeah.
literally. So this is the process. It's like a 5-step process. Okay. Number one, you want to answer this question: how much cash would you like to collect today? Okay, and you want to write this at the top of a piece of paper. I have like an Excel spreadsheet. I can give that to you guys after this as like a template. But how much cash do you want to collect today? And also answer this question: how much money do you need to make today to make yourself believe that you can create wealth at any moment? Like, how much money would you need to make today to prove to yourself that you can actually create wealth and give value at any moment? Okay, so write that number. It could be $10, it could be $1,000, it could be 10 grand, whatever it is for you. It could be more, right? Whatever it is for you and inside your business, whatever makes sense and whatever would give you that, like, yeah, if I made this today, like, I know that I could make it any single day in any way, in any circumstance. So write that number. Number two, step number two is you want to go through your social media profiles. You want to go through the contacts in your phone. You want to go through the contacts in your email. And you want to pick out 50 people who you believe that you could serve. And you want to write their first name and their last name one by one. And next to their name, you want to write down the value of that deal, how much value you can provide to that person in exchange for a service. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have a standardized service, which is amazing, you might be like 2 grand or 5 grand, whatever your billing is. Or if you have a little bit more of a customized one-on-one experience, then it might be a little bit different for each client. It depends on you. But write down the value of that person, of not of that person, but of the service that you can give to that person. Okay? Do that for every single person in at least 50 people, at least. Okay? So that's step number two. Step number three, you want to add up the total value that you're able to give. So if you wrote down 2K 50 times, all of a sudden your pipeline goes from empty and dry to a pipeline of $100,000 just waiting for you to serve people. Okay,
So
so
true.
that's step number three, and that'll also get you. If you're in a place where you're like, I don't know where my next client's coming from, it brings you into this scarcity mindset, which is where we want to avoid, right? But once we get onto paper, into this tangible experience, we are like, oh wow, I actually have a huge pipeline. There's so much abundance of opportunity for me to serve people and get paid for it. Okay.
It's so true. Like, let me chime in on this here.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
when I was starting my agency, the first step I did is I realized I know a lot of people that I didn't realize could use the service. So what I did is I went to Google, I downloaded all of my phone contacts from Google, right? So that way, like, I'm meeting people at networking events. I type in their phone number, right? So guess what? I have 1,000 phone numbers in my phone. So your job
Yeah.
is to download those phone numbers into an Excel sheet. First step. Okay. Then what you'll realize from doing Google contacts download export, and I showed it in some of my other videos, and I'll make sure to put the link here in the show notes, is now you have 500 phone numbers, right? What you'll realize also is you've also over time collected a certain amount of emails. So now you have a phone number list of 500, let's say, and you have an actual list of emails. So now you got emails and phone numbers. So what you want to do now is take a look at those contacts and organize them, right? And the first one you want to see is, who are the people that I know off the top of my head? Like, they're in my personal contact sphere. I could send them a text at midnight and they would answer, or I could call them, right? So those are like your close community of people. Like, those are your number one. Then you got like a bigger one, which are like acquaintances, like people that know you, like they seen you around, they've been liking your stuff. Like, if you called them, they would pick up because they seen your phone number and they recognize the ID. Then you got a bigger sphere around that of people that like maybe met you one time. They may have remembered you. You made an impression, but if you called, they wouldn't recognize your number or they wouldn't recognize your email. And then around that, you have your final sphere, which are people that just don't know you, that don't know you, right? And between those two, you have people that you know that can refer you to other people. So your job is to take people from not knowing you at all to recognizing you, to now liking your post, leaving comments, answering your emails, answering your texts, to finally now feeling comfortable enough to get on the phone with you and move that relationship forward, and then close them to be able to do a product or a launch or a service. Because oftentimes what you're not doing is you're not realizing how many people you have around you that you can do business with. And trust me, do not try to close 10 people at once. You honestly need 1 to 2 people. Like, when I was working at the agency and I was managing 6 people doing ClickFunnels design, infusion backend, email marketing, all this, like, day in day out, like 45 hours a day working just on funnels, because we had so many things to fix, to improve, to A/B test, but we really didn't have time to really focus on the 3 that were consistent, the 3 that continued to pay their bills, the 3 that had better conversion. So when we dropped from 6, I think I was running 8 to 6, and then we dropped down to 3, a huge boost in the business. So you only need a couple clients, and you're like, well, Alan, the client's only going to pay me $1,000. But no, they're going to pay you $1,000 right now. What other services can you sell them later? How can you continue to grow that client to be much more of an actual value? So there's other things that you can do, and they can pay you more for all the services. So continue on your client prospecting system. So you got these names down, you put them
Mm-hmm.
into a list. Like, are you putting them in pipeline deals? Are you putting them in a system like Go High Level? What's your next step?
So you can, obviously you can put them into these softwares, and that's valuable. But usually it's just about getting them down on a simple piece of paper, because I don't like to overcomplicate it. The next step is almost, really, Alan, it's perfect segue from what you were talking about, because you want to rank those people 1, 2, or 3. Okay. Now, ranking number 1 means that if you call them today, if you reach out to them today, they'll either pick up immediately or get immediately back to you in a text message or a messenger message. Ranking number 2 is, if you reach out to them and leave a voicemail or you call them, they'll probably get back to you within the next few days. Like, they'll get back to you, but it'll just be a couple days. And then number 3 is people that, again, like, they might not know exactly what you're up to or why you're reaching out, and they might get back to you, they might not get back to you, and it might not be for like 2 weeks. So what you want to do now that you have those 3 rankings is you want to pick your top 10 number ones, and you want to reach out to them right now with a message that says, hey, I was actually just thinking about you. I was looking if you could connect today. Or literally, you can just call them and be like, hey, we haven't spoken in a bit. I was thinking about you. What's going on in your business? What's going on? Right?
Yeah.
And then from there, you find out if they have a problem that you can solve. And if they do, you you offer your services, and they're like, yeah, that actually makes perfect sense. Like, let me sign up.
See, that's the problem is like if anybody's saying, oh, I don't have any clients, I can identify they have a problem in prospecting. They
Mm-hmm.
have a mental block in outreach. So if you reached out to 15 to 20 people every day, your calendar will get booked.
That's
It
it.
will. It's just it's a science of numbers. When I was doing door-to-door sales, we taught all of our reps 50 doors. You do not quit till you hit 50 doors. And guess what? Sometimes it was 49, sometimes it was 30, sometimes it was 51. Sometimes it was the next day that you got two in a row because you hit 50. So like you have to approach, you have to have leads to talk to. You
Mm-hmm.
have to do the outreach. And nobody wants to do it, right? Some people love it because it comes natural to them. Some people don't. Some people want to do funnel design. But till you build a team around yourself and you hire somebody just to do sales, part-time or full-time or commission only, and you're wondering why you don't have clients and you're going through this feast or famine, it's because you're not doing consistent outreach. You're doing consistent funnel building or consistent Facebook ads every day, but you don't have a time blocked in your calendar for 30 to an hour. But you got time to like people and watch Netflix for some reason, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
got to ask yourself, like, how many people today did you start a conversation with? How many people today did you move the conversation forward? And how many people booked? How many people got on the call? How many people signed? How many people said, I need to think about it? And that is what a CRM helps you do. That's what having a spreadsheet helps you do. That's what having a piece of paper helps you do. But if you don't take these action steps, you're not going to see the results.
Yeah, I was. Can I'll speak to that too, if you don't mind, Alan.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
agree 100% with everything that you're saying, and I was actually watching. I was watching a Twitch streamer talking about how they became a big streamer, and they gave 3 steps on this little mini presentation that they were giving. And they were like, number one, set a goal. Number two, like write it down. Write down when you're going to start. Number three, write out 5 content creators that you want to resemble. And he was like, now, if you haven't written all this stuff down, and he went to the next side and just said, quit. He was like, do not keep going. Just give up on this dream of being a streamer, because if you can't even write down these 3 simple things, you're not going to be able to make it. You're not going to make it.
That's
And
so true.
it's like it's a brutal truth, but it's true. And here's the thing that I want to also impart. You, and like you were speaking to too, but as far as like one day you had 50, one day you had 30, one day you had 49, you don't need to be perfect every day. You don't need to nail it and crush it every single day in order to have success. You just need to get up and try, and have
Yeah.
that clarity of action of like, okay, like today, freaking 10 people. That's what I'm just going to reach out. I'm going to follow up with 10 people, whether they buy or not that day, whether they get on a call that day is beyond you. You actually have, like, I would say very little control about whether or not people hop on a call with you. But what you do have control over, the action steps and the lead metrics that you can track. How many conversations did I start?
Yep.
How many people did I just invite to get on a call?
Yep.
Right? And then how many offers did you make on a call? Right?
So
And
true.
so
So
you
true.
just,
I mean, like,
yeah.
there's a book that I was reading a while ago. I think I probably have it on the shelf here. It's called How to Get Clients Now. Okay, they talk about all the strategies, phone calls, emails, text, and
Uh
then
huh.
like that's like the first like chapter, and then the rest of the whole book is literally pages that has like 1 to 20, and you write down who you're going to do outreach to that day.
Yeah.
That's the whole book. Like the rest of the
That's
book was
amazing.
just workshop.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is like, I have my day planner here. Okay, like I have this interview scheduled, but I also have certain times in the day, both in the morning and in the evening, that I blocked out 30-minute times that I'm going into groups, I'm adding people, I'm starting conversations, I'm putting posts in there, I'm reaching out to people, I'm adding value to the post. I'm hearting and liking people. I go to their profile. I see if there's any similarities. And then I add them. And then I reach out to them and say, hey, like, I think we're doing some things in the marketing space together. Would love you to come on the show. Would love to learn more about what you're doing in digital marketing and start a conversation. And then it snowballs, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you wake up in the morning and you got people booking times on your calendar because you're sending them links. Hey, we'll love to chat more. Choose a time on my calendar. Hey, we definitely need to collaborate. Here's my link. And as you send this out, you're going to get these people contacting you. So if you have a lack of sales, you have a problem in prospecting, you have a problem in lead generation. And if you're just trying to pay money for ads, right, that's one way to go. But if you don't have money for ads, you got to do it organically. And that takes time and effort. And actually, honestly, I think you might have a better close rate organically than from cold traffic, because cold traffic, you got to warm them up depending on the offer. But if you are using group strategy, you're using outreach, these are all things that you can easily do to add revenue to your business, because people want this type of relationship. I mean, I've had people be like, wow, like, you're the only one that actually read my profile, instead of sending me a message saying like, hey, join my mastermind. I think you're in marketing. Like, go through, take 2 seconds and treat them like a real person, right? And try to develop a relationship. Like, Facebook is amazing. It's like going to a networking meeting every day, but you have to work it. It's not going to work for you unless you dig the dirt and find the gold.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest truth there is that there's really not a complicated strategy. Like, and this is honestly where I've shifted my business and my coaching a little bit. I used to teach a lot of like content. I still do, not to say I don't still teach it, but like content marketing, and you got to start getting your lead magnets ready, and you got to grow your group, and all that stuff actually doesn't matter at all. And the biggest metric that you want to be tracking, if there's only one metric in your business that you track as a consultant, as a coach, as a service provider, it's how many people did I talk to today about their business and about my business?
Yeah.
And it's
So true.
like, did you do it?
That
Did
that,
you
that
not?
that's where that's like we could talk about
We
running a
could talk
marathon.
about this.
Like, we could talk about running a marathon. We can watch videos about how to run a marathon. But till you put the socks on and lace up your shoes and go to the track, you ain't running. You ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And so what I've learned over the last year building my own brand, my own business, is like, and this was actually something I got from another interview, is there's a difference between branding and marketing. Branding helps marketing, and marketing helps sales. So the more branding you have, such as creating interviews, doing talks, keeping posts engaging, giving content that like makes them understand who you are, what do you do, what do you stand for, right? What's your brand all about? What is your tribe all about? That helps your marketing. So the marketing being the Facebook ads, being the systems, being the funnels, being the follow-up text, follow-up emails, like that's all part of marketing, and that helps sales. So if you don't have good sales, you obviously don't have good marketing, and you don't have good branding. So oftentimes, and I've been there before, is I've spent months working on launches, right? Months building out campaigns, but I wasn't working on the branding part. So you need to change your focus from actually what is it I'm offering to more of who do I have around me and what community am I developing. And oftentimes people don't realize they already have this environment, they already have this community, but they haven't cultivated it. They've let it die on the tree. They've let it die on the vine. Like, how many times have you met somebody at a networking event and you're like, wow, dude, I can totally do business with this guy, but then that business card gets lost in the shoebox behind your bed, right? It happens all the time. That's happened to me. I know,
Mm-hmm.
So
It
you're it
happens to me as
happens all
well.
the time. So like, how many times you see somebody who's killing it in the space and you don't outreach to them, and you don't just say, hey, I love, I don't know, I hardly get any messages from people that watch my stories and say, dude, way to go, or like thumbs up. Whenever somebody does that, I put them in the CRM right away. I say, this guy showed some life. He's not in a coma. Like, like
Yeah,
they like my
love
stuff.
that.
Like, so your goal is to take them from being just a blank friend that never engaged, never did nothing, to liking, to commenting, to watching a live, to leaving a comment, and figure out how to filter these people out and move them along the journey so that way
Hmm.
you can get them to the later stages in the client development process. So, Michael, let's talk about this, because one of the other reasons I really enjoy having you on the show is because you figured out all these hard ways to do it, the manual ways, right? But for the
Hmm.
people that are still here on this call, I want them to have a sneak peek into something that we're going to be including in your profile on Secrets of Digital Marketers, the actual tools and softwares that you figured out the hard way, how to get programmed, how to get available, and how to actually do a lot of the things we're talking about automatically for them in their business. So would you mind sharing your screen and showing me a little bit more about the friend adding app? And then the other one that I'm really excited about is the posting one that makes your post very, very cool. And that's actually one of the reasons I first got in touch with you, because I was like, how is he doing that? I've never
Let
seen
me
that. So let's jump right
see
into
here.
more of a walkthrough of how the system looks and what do you do.
Okay, so um, I gotta make sure I use the right one because I'm working on an updated version. I'll showcase that a little bit too. But this is my extension called Automate Connection, and what it allows you to do is basically you can select from all the groups that you're a part of. So I'm just gonna go to my own here, little little low key promo for my own group here. How to get sales in Facebook groups, and then I'm gonna hit Open Selected Group. And what this is going to do, it's going to pull up the members section. So it's going to list out all the members. And I'm going to set this at 0 minimum and then just like up to 100 mutual
So
friends.
before you continue here, so
Yeah.
guys who are watching this, okay, you want to be in a group, okay? So you want to find a group, marketing group, health group, fitness group, right? Because what's happening is out of the billion people that are on Facebook, now we know these people all like fitness or these people all like marketing. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that you don't have 5,000 friends that are just random people. You want to have 5,000 friends that are all marketers, 5,000 friends that are all into fitness. So what Michael is showing us here is you can set his specific app to be able to find people and send invites to them that have a certain amount of mutual friends. So what you want to do is once you build out your friends list, you're going to start realizing, okay, well, this guy likes my friend. This guy likes my friend. Well, he's obviously in the marketing space because he's in the group. And he also has 20 other friends that are all my friends because they're all in marketing. So that's what a really powerful feature he has here is the minimum mutual friends, right? So that's what minimum mutual friends is. What's the one to the right of that?
Yeah. So this is the maximum. So let's say you want to connect with somebody, but you don't want it to be like someone you already kind of know or you already know has 500 mutual friends with you. You want to find someone that's like kind of in the middle, right? Like they probably are connected to you through a bunch of mutual friends, but you don't want them to be your most connected mutual friend because you're probably in a program with them. Like I know for me, anyone that has over about 100 mutual friends with me, I probably can't serve them super well. They're probably already in a program that is helping them do the thing that I'm doing. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we have there. And
And then
then
and then the other cool thing too you got here is send out request interviews, right? So if you go ahead and you add everybody in the group and you're just spamming, add friend, add friend, add friend, add friend, what's going to happen is Facebook is going to notice that and it's going to say, hey, slow down. And you keep on doing it, it's going to throw you in Facebook jail. Okay. Facebook jail means you cannot add any new friends or send messages to anybody new that's not in your existing contact list for over a day. It's happened to me. It sucks. So, what happens is you're timing the variable so that way it automatically sends for you in the specific variable. So 50 a day is a good number and you want between like 1 to 30 seconds per invite. So you can see it working in the background, right? Right now, this is that red background, right?
Yeah, that's what's happening. But you know what? Actually, this has been improved. So this is kind of the old model here, and then the new model, which is coming out now, because that works in the background, but I have to have it in a separate tab or whatever. But so now, what's going to be coming out in the next week or so is basically we have a dashboard here now
Mm,
where it pulls in all the contacts from a group, and you can filter them by where they work or where they're about or what city they're in. So you only want to target people from Austin, Texas. Got this one guy, and I can basically hit this and send the request, and then it'll go out to this specific person. Or I can do that for
wow.
all of my. I can clear my filters here. But I can select here, and when I hit send request, it's still going to go out intermittently, but it's going to be for all of these people that I've already kind of vetted because I've come in through here and I've checked out. This person is the owner of a business, maybe. Let's see, yeah, like vertical startups. That's where he works. I know this guy, so I mean, I would know that. But that's kind of the updated version
This
that's
is
coming
awesome.
out soon.
Thanks for showing us a sneak peek in this. I can't wait to play around with it. This is super cool.
Yeah, and then you
So
can also see who you received friend request from, who you sent it to. Um, like I said, this is still a little bit under development, but if I wanted to unfriend my mom, I could do that. I'm not going to do that right now. Um, and yeah, so that's
trust me,
that's all.
the moms are the number one reaction and
Oh,
commenter. I mean, I know something's wrong if I don't get an action from my mom. Like,
yeah,
get
I
a
know.
hard again.
That's it. That's it. I'm proud. I'm happy about it.
So,
Um,
so walk us through this page. So this page is so important. So the one you were us on. So like right now you have, let's say 2,000, 3,000 friends, or maybe you just have 500 friends, right?
4,107 friends. Yeah.
Right. So, your first job, join groups, get involved with the groups, leave comments, leave messages. You want to seem like a big fish in a small pond there, right? You want to leverage your experience. You want to share lessons that you've learned from the group. You want to share client successes based off of stuff you learned from the group, in the group, etc. Right.
Hmm.
So as you continue to build that, you're using your app to find mutual friends that have keywords such as CEO or coach or digital marketing, and it's sending out these requests to them, right? It's doing it all
Yep.
automatically for you. And so now, once they accept that request, does your system send them a first message?
So my system does not, but I'm partnered up with a man named RJ Ahmed who has a service called Friend Funnels, and that does that. It's in the works for the future to do
Yeah.
to have that service, but I don't have it in mind quite yet.
And for you guys that listened to the interview that we did with RJ a couple weeks ago, RJ talks all about how to get your dream 100 doing exactly this strategy. So what I like about Michael's approach, and Michael was really the first one to bring this to my attention, is when you connect all of these different Chrome extensions and all these tools and resources, it's like being a handyman, and you now have all of these tools to be able to help you do what you need to do. So you figure out these strategies from here, you figure out the strategies from there, and then you sort of hodgepodge, cut and paste them together in your concept, your strategy. And that's what makes your marketing secret sauce different than everybody else's. So the message is, so you add people to your system. Now that they're in your software, walk me through the next steps.
So next steps, if I've added them as friend and they accept, um, I go ahead and I click right here and I open a chat and I start a chat with them. And I would go to their profile here. I would take a look at what they're up to, what they've got going on, and then I would send them a message and connect with them. So like my strategy, I'm going for quality over quantity, right? And so when it comes to me having conversations, I've done the conversations where I really just like have 1,000 open conversations at a time, and for me personally, it's just not workable at the stage that I'm at. And I'd rather have 10 open conversations with people that I can actually possibly serve than have that 1,000. So I would go over here to Greg Jeffries. He's asked me if I want results like these. I don't know, holding a bunch of cash, maybe. Um, but so I would
There's a
reach.
difference when those are all ones and when those are hundreds, by the way, guys. And you know how you know? It's the color of the band.
Oh damn,
Yeah,
damn,
nobody knows that.
throwing some fire
But
down.
talk to me. Okay, so like I'm on the page. Walk me through your prospecting setup. Like, what are you looking at, and what are you trying to figure out while you're going through his post so that you can make an engaging comment and send him a message. So like, this is a fresh guy. You just added him, right? You saw
Mhm.
that he accepted your ad. You're now like going through his profile. Like, walk me through if this was a real lead. Like, what you would do.
Yeah. So I would come here, or I would have my BA do this as well, go through and prospect. But basically, okay, how to manipulate people online for fun and profit. This is like hilarious. I'd probably watch some of this. Let's find one that I can actually comment on because I highly don't recommend commenting on things that you don't actually consume. Um, so like he has a lot of video content. So this might be more challenging, but all right, here we go. Let's check out this. Okay, the sauna, jacuzzi in the back row at the movie. What's your fancy? Whatever it is, having money sure helps. And I can help you get that money so that you can finally live your fantasies. To learn more about the system I'm using to get my monies from past 4+ years straight, visit the first link in the comments. Okay, so like in truth, like I probably wouldn't reach out to this guy, but let's do it anyway. So I would love his post because that's dope. He's a rapper. I can't remember his name.
Um,
He's in here,
Mr.
and I'm gonna leave a
Ludacris.
three. It's like a three-phase comment. This is something that I learned from one of my mentors, Shawnee Taylor. Shout out to Shawnee.
Oh, we're getting some love. Tell guys, give us some more love. You got to keep Michael Fett over here with some encouragement.
I know, because otherwise I might just leave.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be good. We're in the middle of the interview, you know.
I
So
know
hearts,
exactly.
hearts, hearts, hearts. Give us some love. He's breaking down how does he actually go through a profile? What is he doing to like get key distinctions so he can make the best possible outreach message?
Yeah. And number one, also like the thing that I already know about this person is that he does affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
I'm able to ascertain that he has SEO affiliate domination, so he's does some kind of SEO affiliate marketing, which is
I mean,
awesome.
other thing I'm picking up right here is like he's not talking about heart-based emotions. He's not talking about like helping out the world. His focus is money, right? So when you talk to
Mhm.
people, you got to figure out where are they at in their own development, like what's important to them. Right. So if I come to him and I send a message like, "Hey, we'd love you to come to the group and give free knowledge and help people be better entrepreneurs, so they can impact their community and be have more time with their families." Like that message would not resonate with him, right?
It
So
would not.
you would want to do something like, "Yo, dog, I see that you're doing some sick stuff in the marketing space. By the way, I got some ways that we can make money together." Like that will
Mm-hmm.
get him.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I'll yeah, 100%. You want to just like you want to meet people where they're at, right? So like if you see someone who's just starting out maybe or like you're not even sure what they do, um you got to connect with them on something wherever they are. So, yo, I'm going to say yo, love this. He's kind of a gangster. I'm saying yo, love this. Totally resonates with me. Money isn't everything, but it's sure a good down payment.
Yo, what's up, Ryan? What's
Oh
up,
wait,
guys, watching the
oh whoops.
live? Thanks for joining us. We got Michael here talking about how to prospect on Facebook, what he does to direct message people to get them on the calendar and book deals using his software. So cool to have you on here. Thanks for joining us, guys. I mean, this is awesome. So that really works for me. Making some killer relationships. And then like what you're doing in the comments is you're not just saying
Yeah,
like, "Hey, great post," or "Hey, I love this." You're
yeah,
actually like trying to stand out against everybody else who's ever commented on any of his stuff ever. Because what's going to happen is he's going to click on your profile afterwards and then he's going to see what you're about and he's going to do research about you. So your job is to like make yourself stand out in such a way that now he wants to do business with you because your branding is in line with your marketing. And that's going to make your sales easier, like we were talking about earlier today.
100%. Yeah, and I'll break this down right here. So here's what I'm doing. I'm agreeing with him. Okay, I'm kind of relating to him. Money isn't everything, but sure down payment, right? Having money sure helps. I'm basically saying the same thing as him. Him and I are alike. I'm giving a little bit of a tidbit for what I do, which is I help people to make killer relationships online. And then I ask him about what his goals are for 2021 when it comes to the bags. Right. So
Yeah.
I'm asking a question that's going to get him to be like, oh, I want to tell you all about my goals. Right. Then I would do this on 2 or 3 posts. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's what I would do.
Yep.
Be
Yeah,
like,
I do the same. I do like 3 to 5 posts. I heart like,
because,
I go through some of their photos,
mm-hmm,
leave some comments. I take a look at like what city he's in. I take a look at the website.
yeah,
I take a look at some of his positions. I don't like doing the posts that say like, hey, I see that you're a mutual friend of Joe Schmo. Like, I don't care about that. That never really
mm-hmm,
works. I think what works for me is like I make money on the interweb and affiliate marketing. So like reach out to them like if you have a podcast, hey, we'd love for you to come talk to people about how to do affiliate marketing to get you leads and some additional people following your brand. Like it's all about them. It's
mm-hmm,
nothing about you, right? The way that
yeah,
you get what you
100%.
want is you have to help them get what they want. So you got to figure out this guy, like, what is he like? What is he all about? So like now you went through his thing, right? He got a notification saying, hey, somebody just left you a message. Hey, somebody just left you a comment. Hey, somebody
Mm-hmm.
just liked your posts. So
And
now
what,
what you need to do is take it to the next step and actually send him a direct message. So go ahead and walk us through how you send this direct message.
yeah, 100%. And I think I don't want to gloss over the point that you just made because being showing up more than once in their notifications automatically creates more trust. It creates that recognizability between you and the person because you go from stranger to someone that they've seen 5, 6, 7 times in their mind already before you reach out to them,
Yeah.
right? Because they accepted your friend request, they saw that, they accepted it. Maybe it was a VA or something too, but they accepted your friend request. You commented and posted on their posts a few times, and now you're reaching out to them. So that's like 6 or 7 actual touch points that you've made with this client or with this potential client before you even reach out to them, potential partner. You don't really know what it is because when you're going into the messenger, you always want to be asking yourself, what's the deal for them? Right? Like, what is it that they need right now? Is it more content? Is it a connection? Is it a JV partnership? Is it a course? Is it a service that I offer? Right? And you want to figure out what is the deal for them. So I'm gonna say, hey, Greg, love the content you're putting out. Uh, See, this is hard because I haven't done the research that I would do. You know what I mean? But I would say, love the content you're putting out. Okay, I'm gonna send you a
Like
couple
I'll
messages.
get I'll give you guys who are here watching the live and here at the final stages of the ending. I'm going to give you what I do, right? Most generic one, right? Obviously, like you said, you want to do quality over quantity. Like you got 10-15 minutes a day to do this. Okay, 30 minutes a day. Like don't overburn yourself, but count how many messages you're sending out. And your software helps to do that as well. So your job is to look at this and say like, what can I deem the most realistic comment? Like, what can I take from his profile? So I would say like one that I like to do is first, hey, and then their name. And then I like to use the wave emoji as a, hey, Greg, I see that you're doing some awesome stuff in the marketing industry as well. Really love all the content that you're releasing in affiliate marketing. How long have you been doing it? Would love to know more about it in chat. Message me back, like generic, like, hey, I love what you're doing in this space. I've been following you for a while. I wanted to give you to outreach to you to see how we can chat. I mean, that's it. Like you would want to get that type of message, right? You wouldn't want to get a type of message that said like, "Hey, here's my link to my mastermind. Join." Like they don't know you, right? They didn't read your profile. They didn't take time to like actually understand what you're about. So that's what you want your first message to do, is to outreach and actually give them something of value. So let's go back to your screen there, and show me what you wrote for yours.
Yeah, so for me, like I'm not in love with this, but I kind of just try to play it, put a playful spin on it, right? So I say, hey Greg, love the content you're putting out. Start your profile a bit. I should have made it. I should have put LOL right there,
Yeah, or like a
but
little winky or something.
a little winky face, just like it's a joke, but I hope it comes off that way. I love the jokes and fun you're making with the whole internet marketing. I don't know why I said keys there. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's a message. Like it does matter, but like don't stress out. I'm not gonna stress out about it. Um, and then I was like, what are the big projects you're working on right now? Because I want to know how I'm able to serve this person. So I got to know what he's up to in the world. So that's kind of my thought process behind this particular message.
So
Um,
look at this. Okay, so he already opened the message. The way that we know is because his little face icons down there at the bottom. Okay. So what I do in my prospecting and my outreach is I indicate stages, right? One, who is somebody I want to do? Like, so RJ was talking about the Dream 100, right? So you got like your personal contacts, you got your phone book, you got your emails, you got that box of business cards. You put that into the CRM system. You start organizing them, or on a piece of paper, or like Michael said, 1 to 3, 1 to 5. What's the level of connection? You start doing outreach, right? You start figuring out who's the people closest to giving you money, right? Who are the people that like that they're entrepreneurs, or they've always talked to you about like, hey, I like your marketing stuff, right? So you figure out who your best people are. You go outreach to them, right? You put them in the calendar. You say, I'm gonna call them on Tuesday at 1 o'clock, and you call them and you mark it off. They don't answer, you move it on your calendar to the next day, right? You put all the notes in there at a basic level, even if you don't have a CRM system. Then for the other people that are on your Facebook page, you're going to start realizing what I did is I went through my messenger and I took all of the people I've been having conversations with and I put them in pipeline deals. And I said, these are people that stage one, Dream 100, stage two, research, stage three, messaged, stage four, follow up, stage five, booked appointment, stage six, got on a call, and stage seven, closed deal. Okay. So if somebody likes my post, I put them in the research phase. If somebody actually opened the message, now they're on that pitched page. And I put in the notes open message. And if I actually started a conversation with them, I move them from research to conversation. So your goal, like that one, is he showed some sign of life. You want to be able to follow up with him, right? A couple of days down the road, he may not send you a message, but if you send him another one, like, hey bro, so you saw my message, what's up, let's hop on a call. Like, use Facebook as your prospecting tool. And a lot of times people are afraid to do this, but honestly, I respect people that do what I'm teaching and do what they know they need to be doing on Facebook, because I'm like, dude, this guy's got it down. Like, I go look at their profile. They got the right header, they have the right image, they have the right featured, so that's really your goal, is to get your branding, your marketing in such a way where they're like, wow, this guy reached out to me. Like, there's some business here. Let's see what we can do.
yeah. I'll say this, Alan. My message to Greg, I wouldn't call it my peak performance of greatest messages, because I really would I would take 5 minutes, which I feel like only took about a minute. I would
Yeah.
take 5 minutes. I would really dig in and make a more meaningful comment. I mean, meaningful question. But I'll say this also, as far as I'll give a little tip for cold outreach if you want that. Okay.
Yeah, I want all the
Okay.
tips.
All right, let's go. So if you're trying to grow your group, something a script, a template that I followed to grow my group to, we're almost at about 800 people now. Um, all organically is as follows. Okay, you friend request the person. Okay, and this is if you're like not sure what to do and you just want to take some action, right? And you're like you're getting in your own head when it comes to landing on someone's profile and thinking about what to say. Like, we just got to get you into action, start the conversations going. Okay. So here's the template. It's basically, hey, name, just started my Facebook group, just did a training on this thing, whatever it is that you have to offer as a gift. Say just, but Facebook group works well. So just created this new Facebook group. It's for powerful coaches, um, and I'd love to have you in it. I only invite people who have at least 1 year of experience. Is it cool if I add you? And here's what you'll get. You'll only get about three different kinds of responses from that. Number one, people say yes. You say, amazing. Can't wait to have you as part of the group. Send the link. You have people that say, no thanks. And you're like, perfect. Thanks. Let's stay connected on Facebook. No worries. Because they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting your offer to join the group, which is fine because you don't want them anyway. And number three, you'll get people who just don't respond. You follow up with them. You're like, hey, did you see my message? And they'll be like, oh yeah, sorry, I'd love to. And then you send the link. Or they're like, yes, I saw my message. Don't message me again. And you're like, okay, cool. Right.
I mean,
And
guys, there's billions of people on Facebook. There's millions of people in your community. Like, so what next? Like, you don't got time for haters. You don't got time for people that are going to give you any static or problems. You need to find the ones that want to be part of your tribe. And they're out there. You just got to find them. You got to do the outreach.
yeah, and to touch on that too, I'll maybe we'll close it out pretty soon. But um, one of my mentors, Brad Newman, who was one of Sam Oven's sales guys for a long time, he was teaching me messenger sales and messenger in general. And the biggest thing, I mean, there's so many takeaways that I got from working with him, but one big thing that I took away is you never want to pause and wait inside of a conversation. You got to move to the next person, right? So if I was really in my prospecting zone and I messaged Greg, I wouldn't wait around hoping for a response. I'd move on to the next prospect, onto the next conversation as quick as possible. Because the longer you wait, the more your mind has time to create up stories about, oh gosh, like he's not going to respond, or like I said something wrong, or oh gosh, I'm bothering them, and I just, you know what, I shouldn't message anyone anymore today.
Yeah,
And then you're screwed,
you're done.
right? You got to just move from one conversation to the next, to the next, to the next. Do not pause and wait around in a conversation. Even if someone responds back to you, make them wait.
Yeah.
Like get back to them after.
It's
Don't wait
better.
around
It's
waiting for a
better
response.
to just do it. Like that message, you messed up, right? You typed something that you didn't mean to, but you
Yeah.
know what? When you send 50, 100, you're not going to remember that one. Like, your job is to develop relationships and see who resonates with you. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody will. But if you don't go out there and you don't start dating, you won't find the person that you want because you're indoors, right? You got to send the message. You got to do the actions if you want the result. So, I mean, this was super super powerful. So, Michael, what we're going to do now for the VIP members is we're going to go into the fire zone. Okay, so you're going to drop
Fire
5
zone.
big fire nuggets. Okay,
Gosh.
so you've done a lot of awesome stuff so far. So I'm pushing you, but please stay with us. Okay, so first question: what is the biggest entrepreneurial mistake you made, and how did you overcome it?
Hmm. Biggest entrepreneurial mistake I made was trying to become an expert at everything. And the way to overcome it is to create a dope network of people who do things that you don't do.
Awesome. Okay, good answer. Okay, next one is, with all the technology that you found, what is your current technology stack?
Ooh, that's juicy. My current technology stack is Go High Level, as well as a custom built CRM, white label version of Go High Level specifically for coaches. Fitprosolution.com. You can check that out there. Go High Level, and I mean, DigiSigner is what I use for contracts. Stripe, Twilio, Mailgun. You gotta set those up for Go High Level. Um, I have a bunch of Chrome extensions that I use. Automate Connection, my own. Be Bold Fonts, my own. Voice Speed, speedforvoice.com, and I use Group Convert, which you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Let's see, what other softwares? Oh, okay. Toggle, Notion. I got a bunch of software. I love softwares, man. So like Toggle helps you track your time, and if you think you're busy all day but you don't seem to get anything done at the end of the day, get a freaking time tracker and start tracking all your time. I swear you will realize that you are wasting your days doing nothing. And
So
that's
true.
and yeah, okay. Toggle's a great one. Notion is awesome. I love it for creating SOPs and creating kind of like embedded documents within documents within documents and manuals and things like that. Google Drive, Google Suite. Um, I love Google Docs, Google Sheets. What else? I use ExpressVPN, um, Bitly. Man, maybe I use too many softwares, but I use a bunch of them,
And,
And
and
then
you,
I have a couple clients that use ClickFunnels, so
yeah, I love ClickFunnels too. I mean, oftentimes people are like, why are you doing go high level when you have ClickFunnels? Well, the reason is some people just need this different stack, right? Some people just need a landing page opt-in, and they just need an
mhm.
email system. Go high level has so much more with the phone system and the
Yeah.
really robust membership site. So you got to identify what are the needs and then find the right solution, because there's even enterprise level solutions that aren't right for mid-sized companies or agencies. So super
Mhm.
super valuable. Okay, so let's talk about um, if somebody is having issues getting clients besides doing the social media outreach that we were talking about here. What else do you recommend them to do?
Ooh, if they're having issues getting clients and they're not doing outreach
they're
or
already
just something
they're
aside from
let's say that they're already doing 30 minutes a day of social media outreach. They're already in groups, right? They're already
okay.
doing it, but it's just not working. Like they feel like they're investing all this time. They're
Mhm.
getting on conversations and people are just like dodging them, or they're not real, or they just like don't know how to move the conversation forward, and they're just like
Uh,
spending time and they're not seeing results. What do you recommend for somebody at that stage?
okay, somebody at that stage. Okay, a few things. You need to, number one, have immense clarity surrounding the transformation that you help businesses or people through. So they go from X to Y after working with you. Okay, so in the example of an agency, they go from 20 leads a month to 100 leads a month through paid advertising. That's your vehicle. Okay, you just want to be super clear what is the transformation that they get. So they go from 5K in revenue to 20K in revenue after working with you or through working with you. Or if it's more of a fitness offer, they go from 270 pounds to 230 pounds in 12 weeks, right? So just being super crystal clear on what your offer is, because if people are dodging you, they don't have clarity around what it is that you're offering, what it is that you're selling. And number two is you want to practice your freaking sales script every single day, whether or not you have sales calls. You want to read it out loud. Again, spend 15, 20, 30 minutes reading through your sales script, knowing what questions you're going to ask, when you're going to ask them, and how you're going to present your offer, or at least the framework of how you're going to present it. I can go through a basic sales framework that's worked for
Guys,
me.
guys, if you're watching the live and you want him to go through his basic sales framework, which I mean, like, my goal charges a lot of money for people to get this like one-on-one coaching, like to really get these nuances that we're covering. So give me some hearts, give me some love. All right, Mike, let's jump right into it.
Okay,
Give me the framework.
here's the framework. Here's the juice. Okay. Um, the framework, it goes basically you're connecting with them, you're figuring out their basically solution awareness. Okay, do they already have a solution in mind for what they're trying to solve, where they're trying to go, what's their goal? You want to find out where they're at right now, the consequences of what's happening, of what sorry, the consequence of what happens if they don't make a change, if they don't fix their problem, and then you make a transition to making your offer, and then you invite them to do it. So let me break it down a little bit further because it's like so high level that's like not helpful at all. Questions that you can ask. Number one, you want to find out what have they done? What have you done in the past? I'm trying to break this all out of order for myself because there's so much. But here we go. Are you ready? Give me some likes give me some likes again. Double like it up here. Here we go. Okay. Number one, you got to connect with them. Hey, how are you doing? Okay, great. If you're ready to go, let's set the intention for the call. You want to set the intention for the call. You want to let them know I'm looking to find out what exactly are the problems or the challenges that you're facing in your business. Number two, I want to find out where where you'd like to get to and where you currently are. And then number three, I'd like to see if it's a good fit for us to possibly work together. Is that cool? And they tell you it's cool. I say, amazing. So let's dig right in. What interested you about hopping on the call today? Right? You want to ask them, it's all about asking them questions. What do you want to get out of the call today? Right? Why did you get on this call? And they're going to tell you how to sell them later on from that first question. Okay. Number two, okay, you want to figure out what, if they're problem aware, do they know why they want to get to that goal, right? Do they know why they're not able to get there on their own, right? Well, how long have you been facing this challenge for, right? You just asking these questions, and a couple of key questions that you can ask. You're like, why? Why is that important to you now, though? Those are like golden questions. So if they tell you, I'll do a little role play here with Alan. Alan, where are you trying to get to in your business? What's the goal for 2021 in the next 3 months?
Oh man, I want to get to that 10 grand a month mark.
Okay, 10 grand a month. Wow, that's awesome. Well, why is that though?
Hmm. The reason is because I want to be able to transition from my 9 to 5 and be able to run my agency so that I don't have to drive an hour to work every single day and have to hear all the nonsense from the people
Mm,
at the office.
wow. And what would how would that impact your life if you were able to leave your 9 to 5 and really step into this, 10K per month business?
A lot of less gray hairs, a lot of less stress. Being able to come home and not be angry about the things going on at the office and things like that.
Wow. That's incredible. All right, so that's a little piece right there. But the questions that I asked are simple. Why do you want to do that? What would it how would that impact your life? And you can even dig in deeper right there. So that's the first step. You want to find out why they're trying to get there in the first place, why they're trying to get to this goal. Then you want to find out, well, what have you tried to get there? What and then why do you think that worked? Why do you think that didn't work? What kind of, because you're the best person to give yourself advice, what kind of resources, tools, or support do you think that you would need in order to get to that goal?
Yeah.
Right? And that question right there they're gonna tell you exactly what they need, exactly how to sell to them. So that later on, when you're making your offer, you're like, well, inside my offer, we have one-on-one coaching and we have a whole membership site and we do weekly check-ins and we do XYZ for you so you don't need to worry about it. And I'm just filling in all those XYZs with the things that you told me earlier that I already know are in my program, but I'm highlighting those pieces of it. Then, so I'm kind of breaking all over the place. But then, Alan, I mean, you know this too, but then you want to figure out, okay, well, what's going to happen if, let's say, you didn't, you know, make this change and solve this problem,
I
right?
mean,
And then
I would continue to have what I'm currently having, which isn't working. And what you're talking about is like, where are they at? Like, do they know they have a problem? Right? Are
mhm,
they currently in the solution searching phase? And based off of in that solution searching phase, are they at the beginning or are they at the end of it and ready to make a decision? Because what you're doing here is you're first eliciting their need, right? What do you need? What's going on? You're doing discovery. You're figuring out, what's their business at? Like, are they making sales or not making sales? What's going on with their ads, where they're at, right? So like you cannot give a prescription unless you have the diagnosis. So in this process, you're talking about how to diagnose them
Mm-hmm.
and figure out. And then what you're doing is you're taking their problems and you're relating them to your solution. And like you were saying, your mini
Yeah.
course or your coaching is actually the solution to what they talked about before. So when you talk to somebody and you're not taking notes or you're not actively listening for the small nuances, when you come into the close or giving them the prescription, they'll say, well, you weren't listening to me. I'm not interested in getting more sales. I'm interested in improving operations, right? So
Gotcha.
you have to be very, very alert and aware of what they're saying and how they're saying.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess we'll move on from this topic here, but I'll add just one last piece. Again, Brad Newman, love the guy, but he says that misdiagnosis is malpractice, right? If you're a doctor and you tell someone that they don't have cancer, but they did have cancer, that's like you lose your license, right?
Yeah,
You can't continue practicing medicine, right? That's not obviously not the case, but it should be inside of service providing, inside of coaching, inside of consulting. Because if you're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist, it just ain't gonna work. And so you want to make sure that you're actually able, like the whole key of sales, you actually want to figure out, do they have a problem that's big enough that I can solve?
absolutely. And also, do they know that their problem is big enough for them to take action? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so what would happen if you don't do this?
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, you won't have the income. Well, you said earlier before that you wanted to have the income so that way you can actually take care of your family, right? So when was the last time you were on vacation? Oh man, it's been years. Well, don't you think that if you apply the training, we can figure out a way to leverage your time and your effort and build in mechanisms and systems that shorten the amount of time that you worked every day and also show you how to hire and onboard people so you can finally take that vacation? By the way, how old are your kids right now? Like they're like 4 or 5, right? So wouldn't it be nice to take them to Disneyland? Like they're at a very impressionable age. When's the last time you actually made it home for dinner? So
Mm-hmm.
like you're not twisting anybody's arm.
Yeah.
You're giving them the answers that they want to hear back. And you're relating their problems to your solution, and your solution is your program.
Yeah. And another super powerful question is, how do you feel that this program is going to help your business and help your life? And then you let them tell you again exactly how it's going to solve the problem.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. I love it. So, last question of the fire round. Tell me if somebody is like, hey, I can't afford your services, or I don't have a marketing budget, or, I want to do it, but I don't think it's going to work. What are your rebuttals to this, and how do you deal with those difficult clients like that?
Well, I probably wouldn't work with them, but it depends. If it's someone that I really think that I can serve powerfully, um, then okay. Well, there are a couple different rebuttals that you just put out there. Do you want me to focus on one of them?
Just shoot me everything within that
Okay,
area.
within that realm. Number one, well, okay, so you said that you don't have the marketing budget for this right now. What exactly do you mean? And like, what is your marketing budget? Right? Because so the truth about objections is like, Grant Cardone speaks about them being like complaints or objections, right? And there's this like hitting force, right? You're trying to fight fire with fire. That's not going to work. Okay. When someone hits you with an objection, you want to breathe, you want to smile, you want to say, totally, I can understand. It is expensive. Can I ask, what do you mean exactly when you say it's too expensive? And then they'll tell you, oh, well, you know what? I only have $750 to allot for this, or I only have $2,000 to allot for this, and you're quoting me at $5,000 per month. I'm like, okay, well, how did you reach this $2,000, quota? And they're like, oh, well, we make this much revenue and, um, we make this much revenue on average and we're only taking on this much new revenue. And so like, this is how much we have to work with. Like, okay, so if there was a way for us to work together and that you could increase that revenue, would that raise your budget? Like, would that make more funds available for you? And they'd be like, well, yeah, it would. It's like, okay, well, what if we did this? What if we put down this 2K deposit that you're comfortable doing? We work together for the next 2 weeks, and then at that point, you know, we'll have next month's, whatever, and you work it out. Or you're like, or if it's not a good fit, it's not gonna be a good fit. And I would just be like, hey, listen, let's do this. Let's meet up again next month because you have a flood of new clients coming in for XYZ. And I think that will be actually a better time for us to connect. Right. But you need to get clarity on exactly what they mean when they say it's too expensive. Right. It's too expensive is like, I didn't think about spending that much money. Or it's like, well, I only have $500 in my bank account. Then you can ask, okay, well, can I offer you can I offer you a different perspective? And they're like, yeah, sure. Because at this point, you've created a lot of rapport, and you're not trying to push them into closing. You're trying to understand where they're at so that you can give them a solution to their problem. And at that point, you're like, okay, well, have you ever considered finding financial resources in a different place, like a credit card or a loan? They're like, oh, well, yeah, actually, I have a credit card I can use. Okay,
Can
cool.
can I say something on that topic? So
Yeah.
also there, you have to get to the point of understanding what are they comparing it to,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like, have you shopped other SEO services? Have you talked to other agencies? Have you been able to get an idea of what this should ideally cost? Right. So maybe when they're saying, oh, I only have $2,000, like they don't understand the difference between a $300 website and a funnel that has all of these bells and whistles and has the marketing system. So they're comparing an apple to an orange. So your job
Yeah.
is to get on the same level with them and actually explain like this is what the packaging entails and this is the value of each individual one. Like, if I was going to build you a sales page, this like $1,000. If we're going to build you email marketing system, it costs this, and this. And comparatively, here is what it could cost at the high end and the low end. And then that way you're really discussing real value of the dollar versus dollar of what they want to buy.
Yeah. It has to do with their relationship to the value, right? And like what they experience. So 100% agree.
So really, if you have any resistance when it comes down to the dollar, is because the value of what they're getting. Like if I was like, hey, there's a Ferrari outside, and you can have it for $5,000, title, cash, everything. Right here, you go. You would figure out how to get $5,000,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Because the car is worth 200 grand, right?
Yeah.
You're already thinking, oh, I can sell it and make 195,000, right?
Hmm.
Because the value is there. So if I can show you how using my predictable lead method, how you're going to be able to get clients, and I show you case study one, case study two, case study three, and this brings us back to our original topic of when you're just starting in the industry, you want to have these take on projects for free or very little money so you can get these case studies and show these examples. Like one of the reasons that I love what Kim's doing is because I've seen a ton of courses, but when I went to sign up for the course and I'm doing research, you just get hit with a testimonial wall that says like,
Hmm.
I made this money, I made that money, I built my company, this, and this. That does all the selling for you. So you got to think about how you can take all your successes, all your client wins, all the real numbers, all the photos of the bank account, all the deposits, all the emails that say like lead created, and explain to them that it's real. Explain to them that you're not some con man, that you're not like everybody else, that your clients actually get success because they work with you. You work with them. You don't
Hmm.
work for them, you work with them. And so when you explain that and you show, look, invest $5,000, right? You get this system. This system is known to create leads on clockwork. Here's an example. I log into the thing, I show them the back end of the client. I'm like, look, in the last month, they got 200 leads, right? This is the average cost per lead, right? Their business actually has a profitability of X amount. And then it takes X amount of leads to close a deal. So by investing $5,000, they get 20 grand. When you show it like that, and you actually give them the actual details of this, then you'll realize that the $5,000 is not is worth everything, right? Because they're going to get 20. So if you lay it out like that, price doesn't become an object. What it comes down to, if you've done that, is do they believe you, right? Do they believe they can do it for themselves? Do they actually think it's real? So that comes back to marketing, that comes back to your case studies, and that comes back to you positioning yourself as an expert. So, Michael, thanks so much for giving us those knowledge during the fire round. Really appreciate it. And for you guys that are here at the very end of this call, right? It's not what you get at the beginning, it's what you get at the end. So I highly, highly suggest anybody who listens to any of the Secrets of digitalmarketers.com podcast, wait till the end. Get the knowledge, because you don't know when you're going to hear that one pearl that's exactly what you need to know right now in your agency to help you grow to be a better professional marketer and do better in the space. And Michael's got something very, very special up his sleeve for you guys that we were talking about before the show. So, Michael, for the people that are still listening to the end of this podcast, what are some of the bonuses that you put together for people that are part of the Secrets of digitalmarketers.com community?
Yeah, 100%. So, Alan, I'm going to throw in a couple more things for everybody that's in here right now. And basically, what I want to give everyone that's listening is my Be Bold Fonts extension for free. You usually charge $9 a month for it. So I'm going to include that, but I'm also going to include my Conversion Connection Secrets 5-day masterclass, as well as my frameworks that I use for setting appointments in the DMs, and a couple other. I might include a couple other juicy bonuses. But if you want to get that, you're gonna have to wait like 5 minutes. But then go to automateconnection.com / we'll just say / free, and you'll have to fill out your name. You'll have to fill out your email, and then you'll get access to all those lovely freebies and bonuses.
Okay, so let's cover it again. Okay, first of all, for you guys that don't know Michael, like, he's a cool dude over anything. Like, get to know him on social media. Michael Rosenberg, right? You'll easily find him. Look for those curls in his hair. You'll see it in the profile.
You'll see
right.
me.
You'll see him. So one of the things he's got is he showed us the software earlier today, which was how to actually add friends, right? So that software, what's the name of it again?
It's Automate Connection.
Automate Connection. So if you guys are looking to grow your groups, right, you're looking to get more people and you want to set that up, reach out to him for Automate Connection. The other software he's got that I really like helps you, and if you want to show your screen, maybe you can make a post while we're here, is if you've ever gone through Facebook and then all of a sudden you see like bolded font, or let's say you see like cool emojis there, or you see like different style of wording. Well, he's developed a Chrome extension that lets you be able to do that in your posts. So when you want to stand out versus everybody else, this is how you do it. So he's showing it right now on his screen. Okay, so show us example of, like, say something like, so glad to be on Secrets of Digital Marketers. Let's look forward to the recording or something.
Yep.
So like this is an
Okay, that's
example.
fine.
So I just got done with an interview, let's say, and now I'm posting post-interview content, right? And so what I'm doing is like I'm gonna tag Michael, right? I'm gonna like share this to my group. I'm gonna share this on my Facebook, and I'm gonna get people excited. And I'm gonna say, hey, go join my group if you want the full interview once it comes live. So you grab that the wording, and let's go ahead and put it into your little system here, right? And so now what it does is you can choose based off of the size and also based off of the different font styles. So you can do medieval bold, you can do Tahoma, any type of font that you have, it automatically adds it. And you can have a really cool way to actually add these emojis in there, which are super powerful for conversion.
100%. Also, you got the one one click copy paste, and then this is another feature that's a little bit under. People don't realize this that it does this, but it also has a feature where basically you can type anything you want, and then I can change the font here. I'm going to go for this square brush font. I'm going to center it, and I want to have the background be freaking blue. I want to have the font be white here. Okay, and what I can do, I right click, copy this as an image, I paste it right in here, and then I have an amazing just graphics, super quick. And it's just a little bit more customization and have you pop, but it looks exactly like some of those other posts like these. It looks like these, but you can actually customize the font type, and you can
That's awesome.
change that. And you can also put in, these fonts
So
into
in the
these
editor
color
one,
ones.
if I wanted to, instead of just the background to be that color, can I drop an image also and then do
Can't
text
drop an
over it?
image quite yet, but we're working on it.
Cool,
We're working on
cool. So I mean, guys, like normally $9 a month, like if you can get one more client, it pays for itself 1,000 times over than the year. But because you guys are part of the digital marketing mastermind, and I'm such good friends with Michael, and we're in another mastermind, he's giving you this for free. Honestly,
That's right.
you have no reason not to improve your Facebook outreach and be able to use these tools that I'm getting access to, you guys. Like, it's taken me years to build the relationships and get into the place where I can ask favors like this. And that's what is the benefit of being part of this group and listening to this podcast and being part of the digital marketing professionals online Facebook group. Um, so yeah, Michael, thank you. Thank you. That's sick. I love it. And you got a
Absolutely.
5-day course that you're including. I mean, normally you charge for that course. I've seen it actually online.
It's
So tell
true.
me a little bit about the course that they're going to be getting.
So the course literally goes over exactly the process that I spoke to today, but in even more depth. As far as how to send messages to people, I even talk about the conversion conversation. So the sales conversation that I spoke to about right now, I have like a 45-minute presentation just on that alone, that you can literally have. I'm giving it to you guys for free. I usually I really only include it inside of, um, I really only include it inside of the programs that I charge for, pretty much. Or if you buy a special package from me. Um, so, like I said, it's going to be at automateconnection.com/free, and I'm literally, because I don't do this, I'm literally putting together this form for this right now so that it can get you the access that you need and that you want. But you gotta give me a minute. So
Yeah, you gotta give him some love, send him some messages. Really appreciate it, guys. I mean, he's going out and beyond. I didn't even know he's gonna have these other bonuses. So I mean, that's probably close to another $1,000 of bonuses that you're including for members here. So, Michael, I appreciate it so much. What you've
absolutely.
covered is so important. So if you're in the fitness industry, you're a coach, you're in digital marketing and you want to get better at doing outreach, you want to get better at building your friends list, you want to know all the nuances of what Michael does to get clients consistently. And Michael's always getting interviewed or being on interview. So that's another topic we can definitely have you on the show about. So if you guys want to up your game and get involved with Michael and the different things he has, Mike, how can I reach out to you? Drop the link for the URL for them to get the bonuses, and how can they find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me on social media, Michael Rosenberg. You go to facebook.com/michael.rosenberg.7. reach out to me there for sure. And then as well, you can join in on my Facebook group, Community High Ticket Sales and Facebook groups for coaches and consultants. That's at facebook.com/groups/quantum connectors. And if you want to check out my podcast, which has been ranked in the top 100 in 4 different countries for entrepreneurship, then you can go and check out entrepreneursconnection.co. Entrepreneursconnection.co. And that'll redirect you over to my podcast where I interview entrepreneurs and talk about how they are connecting with themselves, connecting with their future clients, and connecting more powerfully with the people that they serve.
That's awesome. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on secretsofdigitalmarketers.com. There's a ton of bonuses in your area for be able to get these additional bonuses. Remember again, automateconnection.com/free. automateconnection.com/free to get these bonuses. You're going to be able to get his app that lets you change the fonts. You're going to get a 5-day training on how to do prospecting and a ton of other tools and resources that will be in there. So once again, Michael, thanks so much for coming on Secrets of Digital Marketers. It was great having you today, learning your insights, learning about your software, and look forward to having you in the future as well. Once again, this is Allen with secretsofdigitalmarketers.com. Thanks again, Mike. Take care, buddy.
Thank you.